Hey guys, Mix here, and in today's video we are going to be continuing the first steps in repainting my 1974 Corvette. So if you guys saw in last video, we started off with just the T-tops because if you guys are new here, I've never done anything like this ever, so I decided instead of just jumping straight into the car, especially since the whole car is fiberglass, I'm just going to do both of the T-tops first, experiment, and learn along the way. So last video, we sanded them all down, smoothed them out, filled it, any holes or anything like that, and then we put in the epoxy primer, 2 coats of that, and then I let them dry for 4 days. They said 2 to 3 days, then you could sand them, but I waited 4 just because it's not 70 degrees here, it's like 50, 60, so figured I'd wait a little bit longer, but I took them out of the shed, as you guys can see in my DIY paint booth, and I got them on the stand out in the sun, and they came out pretty dang good. If you guys remember from last video when I had a little bit of a hiccup with the gun because it was shooting just straight narrow instead of fan, I do end up having a run. You can see it right there. And it looks way, way worse on camera. Like in real life, I can really honestly not even feel the little crest right there. But that should all come out when we sand it. This one definitely came out better than the other one. I mean, there are like no runs in this one. And the places that we filled last time, you can see like right there, right over there, they are nice and smooth. So I'm definitely pretty impressed with that. And every here and there are just a couple specks that are in it that should just be able to sand right out. So what I'm going to be doing is using 1400 grit sandpaper, super fine stuff, and that should just be able to clean off and just like shave off the top layer of this basically and just clean it off, and then we can start getting ready for the 2K high build primer, which is like really thick stuff, and that stuff I want to spray pretty good. And if we go back into the little mixing room where I was mixing all my stuff, here is the 2K high build primer. I don't know what happened to this can. It got like destroyed. But being that this is a very thick spray, I've heard that if you do put some reducer in it, it will help out the gun and you know, make it spray a lot easier. But it won't mess with like the high build properties that this has. And then it does have an activator, similar like to the epoxy primer that had a part A and then a part B. I'm not sure if I'm going to be spraying these today because as you guys can see, this is really ideal for 70 to 80 degrees. Today it's like 59 degrees. Tomorrow it's supposed to be in like the mid to high 60s, I'm pretty sure, so I might just wait until tomorrow just to be safe. If I keep the doors in here and when the sun hits this shed, it will get pretty warm. I'm sure it would get about 70. But I definitely don't want to rush anything. There's really no rush at all. So instead of, you know, possibly waiting just another 24 hours, it might be able to adhere to the surface a lot better. And then over here, just don't mind the mess. Obviously, everything's going pretty, you know, crazy right now. Lots of materials. But with the sandpaper, I've been using, you know, like the sanding duct tape rolls, basically. But I couldn't find any like that were, you know, 1200 in grit. I think I was saying 1400 before, but 1200 grit sandpaper is what I'm going to be using. And this stuff I still should be able to put on the back of the sanding block, so I have a nice smooth surface and I know that it is evenly laying out across the surface area. I'm really hoping that my Harbor Freight spray gun is going to be able to spray this thick stuff, but the reducer should definitely help, and what I am going to do is clean off the filter inside of it with this before I go ahead and do that, just so I could get as good flow as possible. Alright, so what I want to start off by is I'm going to clean off the surface on the T-tops, make sure no dust or anything that accumulated in the shed while they were drying gets on there, because I don't want to like scratch it up too bad. And then I'm just going to work with the sandpaper and the sanding block over there and just evenly go across to get this as smooth as possible and get out all of these little tiny specks that you guys can probably see that on there, and yep, right there, and hopefully that will work. But anyway guys, with that being said, let's get to work on that and get these babies ready for the 2K high build primer. So I just finished up sanding both of the T-tops, and the sanding worked amazing. I got rid of pretty much every single little ridge that was in the paint, all of the runs. I mean, they are just gone. I honestly don't even know where to look. But this was the one that had the really bad runs in it, and it was like going like that along like this little curve, and they are basically gone. I still gotta wipe them down a little bit, but once I put some cleaner on these, like some alcohol and just like surface cleaner, I'm sure they look a lot better. But I was surprised how well the 1200 grit actually works. Like, it wasn't too crazy that it started getting, you know, back down to like fiberglass itself, but it just shaved off the top layer of primer and was able to clean it up really, really nicely. So with that being said, I'm going to catch you guys back tomorrow when it is warmer outside, and then we are going to go ahead and start spraying the 2K High Build primer. So with that being said, I'll see you all tomorrow. Alright guys, so we are back here the next morning, and I already got basically all set up. I just cleaned out the gun, filled up the air compressor, basically just, you know, made my paint booth all ready to go. So basically what I have to do is go back into my mixing area. I'm going to begin mixing the 2K primer. I might do a little bit more than last time, but now that I have the fan all set up and good to go, then I mean, we should be close to the amount that I should need, and you only really have to wait 10 to 15 minutes with this until you can apply the second coat, as opposed to 30 minutes with the epoxy primer. So if I make enough, I shouldn't have to remake another batch. But what I actually think I'm going to do is not use the reducer right now. I just want to see how it is with the T-top, and then maybe once we're doing the whole entire Corvette, then I'll use the reducer, because obviously I'm going to be spraying a lot more. Because I was reading the directions and it said, like, do not use reducer unless it's like this type of reducer. I ordered this separate. The kit only came with these two, which is all you need. So that's what I'm going to do. But I got all my mixing stuff in here. I just keep them in the box so they don't get all dusty and dirty, you know, with the filters and everything. And I'm just going to begin mixing it up. Then clean the surface of the T-top. Get the spray gun all dialed in, and then begin spraying.
So with these two, we have to mix it to 4-to-1. The epoxy primer was 1-to-1. This stuff is thick. I can't even really hear it splash around in there. That's how thick it is. And the reason I'm using a cup is I can't figure out an easier way to pour it into this, so I'll just make sure that the cup is nice and clean, make sure my gloves are nice and clean, I'm just dipping it in and slowly but surely letting her fill up. Alright, I'm going to stop there with that, close it back up. So now I'm going to add the activator. I'm not going to bother doing the filter with this one. It's crazy how this just sits on top of it because of how thick it is. Alright, that should be good. Now I just gotta mix it up really, really good. Wow, that's like mud. And then once I'm done mixing it, I'm just gonna throw it in the gun and have at it. I really hope that the gun can handle this. Alright guys, so the first coat of the 2K primer is done, and it looks absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't see any imperfections in this whatsoever, which is pretty awesome. So I'm just going to wait about 10 minutes. I still got some paint left in the gun, but I'm just going to keep that moving so it doesn't all thicken up and everything. But this seriously came out so good. There's still a couple white spots here and there, like a little bit over there, you can see. But I'm definitely going to hit that on the second coat and get that all taken care of. So, in a couple more minutes, I'm going to hit this with the second coat.
So guys, I just finished up cleaning up. I just cleared out the gun quick, with soapy water. I just basically just cleaned up everything. But the second coat is all done and beginning to dry, and it is amazingly clean. Like, I am super proud about how this looks. But this thing is seriously spotless. I am so stoked about how this looks, and we are still going to be sanding this to get it, as smooth as possible. I'm going to hop outside quick because it is still a little bit fumey in here. But on the can, it says to sand with 400 grit. which I thought was a little like weird and seems a little bit coarse to just like, and then just throw the base coat on after that. So I'm gonna kind of look into that. But it says you can wait like 3 to 4 hours and then sand it. I'm gonna wait a little bit longer than that, but I probably will catch you guys back a little bit later today and just begin sanding that down. I'm gonna look online and see what people tend to do for the best results. So with that being said, I'll catch you guys back in a couple hours. Alrighty guys, so we are back here the next day and I have some news for you guys. So the T-tops are obviously nice and dry now, and what I just learned was there is actually like a time limit that you can go after 2K priming them until you can do a top coat, which would be the paint, the blue stuff. There's a maximum time of 18 hours before I guess it's like too late to do your top coat, and I believe that's before sanding. So what I plan on doing is I'm not going to sand it just yet because I don't have the paint ordered, because I wasn't sure if I was even going to be able to make it to this point, but I'm happy to say that I did and it looks really awesome. So, with that being said, I'm going to get the paint ordered, and before I paint it, then I'm going to go ahead and sand this down, get it nice and smooth, clean it all off, and then it'll be time to lay down the paint and then the clear coat. So, next video with these, we should be finishing them up. I think I have the color I want to do all picked out. It's a little bit expensive, but nah. It is what it is. It should come out really nice. Even though we really didn't get too much done in today's video, we just basically just prepped these and got them 2K primered. This is a massive step in the process of painting this car, because this is like the smoothest it's been so far. Like there are 0 imperfections in this. Like I'm proud to say that there's nothing. So sanding it should just be nice and easy. I'm just going to block the whole thing because I really don't have any imperfections or runs that I have to fix by sanding. And then this is going to be coming to an end, and if it comes out good, then we're going to move on to the big stuff, the whole car. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to be ending off the video here. Follow my social medias, they will be on the outro of this video. Instagram and Snapchat I use the most, but thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like, comment, tell your friends about the channel.